Hello there. I've been looking for a set of irons by the Castle Equipment Company for quite some time. So when these popped up on eBay, I didn't delay and they were delivered to me in March earlier this year. Not long after that, I picked up a driver and I already had a putter, so that's a full set. Let's make a video. Here are some time checks in case you don't want to watch the whole thing. This is the first of a two-part video, and in part two, I'll play the clubs. Well, starting as usual with the woods, or wood in this case. Well, even that's not quite correct because this clearly isn't a wood. It's some form of polymer, similar to the Gower's brown nylon type, or maybe the Sparkbrook Cypress Point type of polymer woods. This one is a single piece wood. It's got a imitation insert there, although it's made of the same single piece of material. It's just got a sort of I think it was probably a paint finish on there at one time to make it look like an insert. It's got the Castle name on the sole there, and we've got a number 2, so this is clearly a number 2 wood. Aluminium sole plate, the shaft goes all the way through, and we've got a single screw there helping to hold that in place. The model is Top Castle. We've got a red alignment dot there. It's not in bad condition, a few scrapes and scratches on it. If I tried to clean it up, I'm sure it would look a lot better, but I haven't done so as yet. A little bit of whipping there and a short section of ferrule. Let's have a look at the shaft. It's a True Temper Pro Fit. Or the flex on there, or the flex is on this part of the band. True Temper product, made in England, so this would be an Ackles and Pollock, made under licence. True Temper shaft, regular flex. The grip is a, would you know it, grip right, swing right, victory green type of grip, and you can see it's starting to crumble and fall to pieces, so it's not going to be the best grip. Whether I'll replace this before I play the clubs, I'm not sure, but that's the wood. And here are some of the irons from the set. We have here 3, 5, 7, 9 and wedge. We've got the professional's name on the back of the club there. Let me bring one of these round, the 3 iron. On the sole of the iron we've got the number 3 iron, and we've got the maker's mark, CEC, Castle Equipment Company, who were a London-based company, as we'll see when we discuss the maker later on in the video. And we can see the name Reg Trapp. And Reg Trapp was mainly a club professional. I think he did take part in a few competitions. But this is a very nice bladed club. Got a nice bit of weight at the bottom there, as we can see if I get the profile there. And as far as the look down on the club, it's not got a huge amount of offset on it, and the face is pretty straightforward. We've just got some lines in there with a bit of frosting, various spacings on the lines, various depths as well by the looks of it, so not the most consistent of faces. Simple plain black ferrule. And if we have a look at the shaft, this is, as with the wood, it's a True Temper Pro Fit shaft. This one's got the flex actually on the band, so this would date from sometime in the 1960s, the same as the wood we've just looked at. The grips on these are a Pro grip, it says there. The grips themselves are Avon Golf Pride Chevron model. Not great condition again. Now let's have a look at the wedge. Wedge is, again, it's got Reg Trapp's name on it. We've got the Castle name on the sole, stainless, and this Castle Equipment mark is on the back this time. But it's got a nice feature, is Trap Master. Reg Trapp is the professional. These were sometimes called Wedge Masters or Sand Masters. This one is a Trap Master, which ties in very nicely with Reg Trapp's name. The ferrule is slightly different to the other irons, in that it's got a white and red band on it, so whether this was sold separately to the irons, I'm not sure. It does have the same shaft band, Pro Fit regular flex, and it's got the same grip, so it might have been bought as a set, but the wedges just had different ferrules on. There are actually 2 wedges in this set. If I can bring the second one in. This one is again a Reg Trapp Trapmaster. stainless steel, CEC with Castle on the sole, identical to the other one. But if we look at the ferrule on this one has a blue band, which generally signifies a club built for ladies' use. And if we look at the shaft band on it, we've got Pro Fit, and we have indeed got an L for a ladies' flex. And the length of this one is about an inch shorter than the other sand iron. As far as the club itself goes, it's got a very nice radius leading edge. Just have a look at the other Trappmaster, which has got the same leading edge, so it's pretty much the same club. So put these two back, and that concludes our look at the irons that I'm going to be playing. Now let's move on to the putter. And here's the putter. Again, we can see the Castle Equipment Company Castle mark there, stainless, and the model is Par Castle. Blue band again, so it's a ladies' club built for a lady, slightly shorter than a men's club of the time would be. Nice simple face, frosting with some lines on there, a little bit of offset on this one, but nothing too excessive. And if we look at the shaft band, again we can see it's a Pro Fit ladies flex shaft. The grip on it's been replaced at some stage with a generic grip. This one's called Tour Match. Flat side on the lead, on the front edge of the shaft, so helpful to line the club up. But a nice simple blade style putter, weight at the bottom. Oh yeah, should be a nice club to use. So we have a full set of Castle clubs. Be interesting to see how these perform on the course. We'll see the clubs in action in part 2 of this video, but now let's take a look at the Castle Equipment Company. This is another of those manufacturers whose clubs show up now and again, but frustratingly there's not a lot of information out there about them. What follows is as much as I've been able to find out. Sometime in the early 1930s, 1932 or 1933 to the best of my knowledge, Maurice Bowyer and 3 colleagues formed the new company. Maurice Bowyer seems to have been the driving force behind the company. Just after World War I, at the age of 14, he'd become an assistant to the famous Jack White at Sunningdale, under whose watchful eye he became a scratch golfer, and also became involved in the club making side. When Jack White was sacked from Sunningdale in 1926, he left to form the Jack White Golf Company Limited, based in New Oxford Street, London. Maurice and a number of other club makers working for Jack went with him. At the age of 27, Maurice and 3 of his colleagues formed the Castle Company. They set up in Borough, Elephant and Castle, London, which is probably where the Castle name came from. And looking at the dates, this decision could have been down to Jack White moving his business up to Gulland in Scotland, and so without Jack, Maurice and his colleagues decided to try and make a go of it on their own. I'm pretty sure that the company was originally called Castle Golf Company. The irons in the picture were sold by Mullocks Auctioneers in 2015, and they were listed as being by the Castle Golf Company. And we can see that they have a CGC monogram. Although they have hickory shafts, I think that these have been converted from early steel. Clues that this might be so include the facts that the hosels don't look wide enough at the end, the hickory shafts don't flare out in the usual way, and the pins look further down the shaft towards the head than normal. In fact, they're exactly where a steel-shafted club might be pinned. These clubs must be one of the earliest sets produced by the company, which suggests that they were originally called the Castle Golf Company rather than the Castle Equipment Company. To further back up this idea, here is a putter, again from the early steel shaft era, and this has the more familiar Castle logo, but notice that it is stamped CGC rather than the usual CEC. I found an interesting old interview with Maurice from 1983 after the company had been wound up, and in it he talks about how he always believed that the shaft was the most important part of a golf club, and his goal was always to produce the perfect golf shaft, and claiming that he designed shafts and clubs comparable with anybody in the world. The club claim I can understand, but to make steel shafts is no small undertaking and would have required massive investment, unless it just means that he selected shafts to go with the clubs rather than actually made them. Certainly all the CEC clubs I've seen have been fitted with true temper shafts. Maurice also said that he made metal woods in the 1950s, but they didn't sell, unfortunately. He doesn't say what metal he used, but I'd love to see one of these. If anyone has an example, please let me know. There are a few professional golfers connected with the Castle Equipment Company, including Max Faulkner, Bill Cox and Harry Wheatman. The company carried on the tradition of stamping clubs up with professionals' names for them to sell in their shops, long after most manufacturers had stopped this service, which dates right back to the Hickory days. The Reg Trapp irons featured in this video are one example, and we'll see more when other CEC clubs are covered later in the video. The fact that Maurice Bowyer was able to keep this relatively small company running for 50 years, the last 15 years he ran it on his own, is testament to the trust he must have gained from his customers, who I think were mostly golf club professionals. I believe that they were his main sales route rather than retail, as I've not yet come across any Castle Equipment Company adverts in golf publications. Well, that's the limit of my research into the Castle Equipment Company. If anybody has anything to add, please comment below. And what of Reg Trapp? Before discussing Reg Trapp, let's take a look at the Castle Equipment Company irons that I've managed to record so far. Unfortunately, I can't date most of the clubs I've come across due to the lack of trade adverts, but I'm going to try and put them in date order. We've already seen these clubs, which are the earliest I've recorded. Then we have this coated steel shaft model. No name, but it does have an unusual face pattern. Next, another coated steel shaft model, the Courtier 66. Again, an unusual face pattern and a bit of a groove sole design going on. It's hard to say for sure, but it looks like a CGC within the Castle. Here we have the True Balance model. A nice Blaster 10 iron goes with it, and it looks like CEC in the Castle. Then the Par Castle, a coated shaft and a chrome shaft example. This is the same model as the featured putter. Then we have the Diplomat, another coated shaft model. And this model features one of the professionals mentioned earlier, the Bill Cox centre built with centre weighting. This is an unusual club in that it looks to be chrome plated mild steel, which was very rare in the UK, where stainless steel had been the preferred choice since the 1930s. And then another professional, Harry Wheatman 58. I assume the 58 refers to an outstanding round played by Harry. Next, the Forecastle model. I'm pretty sure that this is the head used for the Reg Trapp irons featured in this video. And to finish, a later Courtier model. As can be seen, this was a popular club with professionals. We have 3 different names as well as Castle's own name. And what of Reg Trapp? Reg was the son of Tom Trapp, one of 3 golfing brothers, with the other 2 being Charlie and Stanley. Tom was appointed pro at Shirley Park when it opened in 1913, and his son Reginald went on to become his assistant there until he took the post of professional at Moleseyhurst Golf Club in 1935, when aged 25. The club had been in existence in 1907, but the same year that Reg joined as professional, the course was sold for building development and the club wound up. He then moved to Manor Park Hotel in Devon, now called Bovey Castle. In 1953 he moved to Flackwell Heath Golf Club near Milton Keynes, where as far as I can tell he remained for the rest of his career. This would mean that the irons featured in the video would have been sold from his shop at Flackwell Heath. A good friend remembers Reg at Flackwell. He gave lessons in a practice room where he hit into a couple of old mattresses. He described Reg's game as not being long but very straight, and the Trap Master was coincidentally the first ever sand wedge of this friend. Unfortunately, I don't have any more information for Reg Trapp, so again, if any viewers do, please comment below. In part 2 of the video, I'll take the Castle Equipment Company clubs to a golf course and see how I get on with them. Thanks for watching, hope you found it interesting, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!